Mic check. What the mic sound like? What time is it? What time is it? Oh, it's 8. Good evening, good evening, good evening, family, and welcome to the P-Ave Perspective with Mr. O'Neal. Every Thursday night, right here at IamTobyO'Neal.com on Facebook, we talk about real life issues that affect our personal lives, our neighborhoods, and our communities. And tonight, we're diving into something that has destroyed far too many of us, but can also be one of the greatest tools we could ever use if we learn how to use it properly, and that is credit. And on a basic level, I just want to talk about assets and liabilities when it deals with credit. That's what I want to talk to y'all about tonight. But do you think credit has helped you or hurt you more in life? Drop a comment in the chat. But whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay on YouTube, I appreciate you tuning in. And like I said, I'm here every Thursday night, God willing, and we're going to talk about it. But like I said, drop a comment. Do you think credit has helped you or hurt you more in life, and why? Let's get into it. But here's the truth. Too many of us don't understand how credit works. We were either never taught, or worse, we were taught the wrong way. Instead of using credit to build wealth, we use it to dig ourselves into deeper debt. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But using credit cards to buy clothes, shoes, vacations, even butts. I've seen, you know what I'm saying, broke, poor people use credit to get BBLs. But financing cars with high interest rates, taking out loans to cover your wants instead of, really focusing on your needs. When we use credit to buy liabilities, things that lose value or don't bring money back, we set ourselves up for financial struggle. And let's just be real. That is, like I said, assets and liabilities, man. Like money is one thing. Money is a whole different thing. But with this credit thing, I can't lie. Like thinking back on it, when I was doing this, drawing up this episode, I couldn't help but think back to the point where a lot of us, especially people I know, a lot of us were taught to misuse credit. We would know what I'm saying, because number one, I remember parents back when I was young, I don't know if they still do it now, but I remember parents used to put bills in their kids' names. And then, you know what I'm saying, like move out, don't pay the bill, don't pay, and it's like that right there alone, you know what I'm saying, shows that a lot of our parents didn't know how to utilize credit and didn't understand credit. So they really couldn't have taught us nothing, a lot of them. But many of us grow up without financial literacy, man. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Money in the black community is thin, but it's even worse when we don't know how, you know what I'm saying, to deal with it. When we don't know how, we don't have the knowledge. But pressure to look successful before actually being successful, y'all know, as black people, we ought to fake it till we make it culture. We ought to fake it till we make it culture. We will, floss the name brand, the designer, you know what I'm saying? Like we said, go get us a Charger with a Challenger with the high interest rate and really look like we doing something, really looking like we got some motion, but really we don't. because we don't even understand real motion. But one of the main things is a lack of examples on how to use credit. Like I said, our parents, you know what I'm saying, didn't know what it was all about. Our parents really didn't understand money, and when you didn't have that much of it, you know what I'm saying, those are the people that really need to understand it so they can figure out how to utilize the money they do have effectively, man. But what's something you bought on credit that you later regretted? What's something that you bought on credit? And I'm gonna keep it real. Like, as a handyman and general contractor and promotion, everything I do, I have always had a habit of buying assets. And what I mean by assets is, if people know me, when we started back in the days when we used to do the music, the first thing I realized was that if we're going to do music, if we're going to be musicians, if we're going to be rappers, then everything that we need, we have to pay for it, basically up front. And that's like, if you need a beat, you know what I'm saying, you pay for the beat up front. If you need studio time, you pay for the studio time to record. If you need a photo shoot, you know what I'm saying, you pay a photographer. And going into the game, like I said, I got into the rap game, and I was blessed to get an opportunity to help run an independent label. And like I said, I've always been like a hustler compared to a customer. And that's the difference really between assets and liabilities. Like, you have to ask yourself, are you a hustler or are you a customer? And because I've always been a hustler, the first thing I did was start doing the math and the budget. And it's like, to get 12 songs, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna need 12 beats. For every song that I do, I'm gonna need a beat. For every song that I record, I'm gonna need to pay the studio engineer and pay for studio time. For every photograph or video I need, I'm gonna have to pay the photographer and the videographer. And as a hustler, that didn't sit well with me. So I started accumulating. Why would I go to the studio and pay him $50 an hour to help him build a whole new studio when I would be it would make more sense to try to purchase my own studio. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where we started at. That's how we ended up getting our own studio. That's how I ended up getting the photography, videography, because like I just couldn't see myself paying somebody for those services. So I learned basically how to do it on my own. I was, you know what I'm saying, paid the engineer to teach me how to, you know, record, how to mix and everything. So it's like, I've always been on the assets over liabilities. And just like anybody would tell me, I have a bunch of equipment. I, like, as a general contractor, all my money go on tools because tools make the job easier. You know what I'm saying? Tools make the job easier. Just like I said, t-shirt, printing, you know, screen print machines, everything. I've always been that. And like, people always wondered, like, why you just buy so much stuff? Why you just stay buying so much stuff? But they didn't understand I'm buying assets. And those assets will allow me to make money later. So it's a difference when you, like you said, buy a car. Like my truck went down one time in doing my general contracting business. So I had to, you know, get me a truck. I had to get a truck on credit. And it's like, come on now, like that's owing people before you even make your money. And it, like, I've never been with that. Like I said, I had my truck go down and it was a business decision. It was a business transaction. But I don't even, you know, I would rather buy an older car for cash and invest my money in an older car than to go out, you know what I'm saying, and you know, spend some money for a car, a newer car, or what they feel like is a better car when it's only going to depreciate in value. And it, like, that's never made any sense to me. But for the record, let me define it. Asset is something that you put money, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. And like I was saying, that's the tools I use, the equipment, everything. They can be used to put money in my pocket. Just like I learned to take my own photos and do my own photo shoots, I was able to sell my services as a photographer and do some more photo shoots and some more, you know, videos. So That's it. Something that puts money in your pocket is an asset. A liability is something that simply something that takes money out of your pocket. And just like I said, man, like we have gotten even worse. We have gotten even worse with money. And that's like we've never had it, but like think about it. Black Americans are having way more money nowadays than we were having when I was younger. But our money management, or you know what I'm saying, our knowledge of, you know what I'm saying, how money is, how money works, how credit works, we don't understand it. So we really just out there spinning our wheels and digging a deeper hole for ourselves. And not just ourselves. Like, do you realize a lot of the debt that you accumulate in your lifetime, like that's, you know what I'm saying, can be taxed to your spouse, that could be taxed to your kids, that could be taxed to people while you gone, man. Other people will have to pay for your financial mistakes when you gone. And that made no sense to me. The last thing I want to do is leave my kids in a situation where they paying off my debts, or they, you know, caught up in my, you know what I'm saying, my bad decisions, or the decisions I made when I was alive. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But assets, man, using credit for assets. Examples of using credit for assets would be using your credit to start a business, using your credit to invest in real estate. You know what I'm saying? I've worked on a few houses where people invested in houses, you know what I'm saying, and bought, you know, foreclosed houses and reinvested them. So buying equipment that helps you earn income, like I was talking about earlier. Even using a credit card responsibly to build a strong credit score. You know what I'm saying? Those are considered assets. All those are considered assets. And all those are considered beneficial. Probably not, like you said, using your credit card wisely. You don't see it in the beginning. But as your credit score goes up, more doors open. More doors. And one thing about us, we always whining and crying about we can't get no help, or nobody will give us funding for a business. Nobody will give us funding for what we don't, but we don't understand. The funding is in the credit. The funding is in the credit. I have seen people build legacies off utilizing their credit properly. So the funding is in the credit. That's where it is. But credit isn't the enemy, man. Credit isn't the enemy. Debt isn't always bad. It's about how you use it. When credit is used for assets, it becomes a tool for freedom instead of a chain around your neck, man. It really does. Because, like I said, whether it's a car, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is that you have to buy on credit that can't produce and can't make you money, just like the girls, the BBL girls, like the ones that's using the BBLs, you know what I'm saying, to model, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever, that may be an enhancement, you know what I'm saying, that will pay for itself, depending. But, come on now. Come on. When credit is used for asset, it becomes a tool of freedom instead of a chain around your neck. Think about that. Credit can be your tool to freedom. Credit can be your tool out of your path to freedom, out of the workforce, out of poverty, out of doing without. You know what I'm saying? It can be, but it has to be utilized properly, because if not, it's just, you know what I'm saying, it would just remain a noose around your neck, slowly tightening up. But like I said earlier, if you are content with messing up your life, if you are content with, like you said, just balling till you fall, just running around here balling and do it in how you want to do until God calls you home. If that's what you want to do, that is cool, but think about your future, man. Think of, like, most of the stuff I talk about now is because, just like I said, I got to the point where I started thinking about my legacy. What is going to happen after I'm gone? What is going to happen to my kids? What is going to happen to my family? My name. You know what I'm saying? What would I be remembered for? This is the stuff that put me in the legacy mind state. And when you really get in the legacy mind state, you start thinking about that. But when you out here balling and doing your thing and living your best life. You're not concerned about nobody. And that's the worst shit ever, because like I said, if you ball your whole life and look good doing it, when you die, if your kids have to go to social media to get money to bury you, that shit says a lot about you. That shit says a lot of that. Like, I see it all the time with my people. I see people, stun out, do it their way, have it their way, and look like they just doing the best. But then, just like I said, when they die and their debt hit and they don't have any assets, all they have is liabilities. That's not a good look for your kids. That's not a good look, on what people think of you when you gone. But kids inherit financial habits, man. Kids inherit financial habits. And like, I know mine have bad financial habits because parents had bad financial habits. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say I had, bad financial habits because I was drove by not having. And that's the difference. I was drove by not having. So like I said, I don't spend. I will save. I'm tight with my money. But like I said, I will gladly buy assets because I see the benefit of assets. I don't do liabilities. I do not do liabilities. So, like I said, strong credit allows us to create generational wealth. What you do here with your credit, you know what I'm saying, can affect your future generations. If your credit is used properly and you use your credit to start a business, to invest in some real estate and buy some rent houses, like, if done properly, you know what I'm saying, under the right paperwork, like, that will benefit, even when you're gone, that will benefit your family. You could set up a trust that will benefit, that could take care of your family forever, that you could establish and you can build up in your lifetime with your credit. With your credit, to the point where you can leave something for your kids to not only live off of, but to build on. To really take it and push it to the next level and pass it to your grandkids and your great grandkids. That's what we own now, man. That's what we own now. But also, using credit wisely means passing down homes, businesses, investments, all the assets, and no liability, no debt, no stress, no nothing. And we got to think about that, because I know people right now who mind so bad, they won't even get insurance. They won't buy insurance. I know a few insurance salespeople that try to sell insurance to black people. And imagine, trying to sell it, to a married person, and a married man saying, I'm not going to put no insurance, and I don't want her to be spending no money with no other nigga when I'm dead. Like, come on now. That whole mindset is messed up. I've heard people say they don't want their kids spending, living off them, spending their money when they dead. And like I said, I'm not getting into that, but that's a messed up mindset. Like I said, once I'm situated, I want to get $1 million. I don't think, my people would kill me for it, but I want to get a nice little piece of insurance so I can leave them. You know what I'm saying? So they can be, enjoy it. But we have to break this cycle when it comes to credit, man. We have to break this cycle, because just like I said, kids, like in my generation, kids were in debt, man, before they even turned 18. And just like I said, I hate to just switch subjects, but all you mothers and all you fathers that talking about, your kid gonna be grown when they get 18 and they need to be out when they 18. If you're not giving them anything to build off of, how are they gonna, start building a life for themselves at 18? Think about that. How? If you're not, giving them no money management skills, if you're not teaching them, how, to start a side hustle, if you're not teaching them to invest, if you're not teaching them how to build a credit, how the hell are they going to be ready to get out? Some of y'all grown and ain't figured it out. Some of y'all literally 40, 50 years old and still ain't figured it out. But y'all telling y'all kids, oh, you're going to be grown when you're 18, you got to get on your own. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Step your game up. Step your game up, because our children shouldn't have to start from scratch because we misuse the tools that were available to us. And it's out here. It's out here. The money is out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, the tools are out here to build your credit. The tools are out here to show you how to utilize your credit to better your life. You know what I'm saying? And to better your future. But like I said, if we don't use it, if we don't take advantage of these tools, then, and we so quick to talk about everybody holding us back and everybody that's against us, and it's like this type of information is all over the internet. This type of information, I wasn't going to waste my time just giving you specific information on how to build your credit and everything, because you can Google it. You can Google it. It don't even take, you know what I'm saying? You have people that help you with your credit, but it don't even take that. If you utilize the tools in front, utilize their cell phone, utilize their internet, Google search how to better my credit. Google, it's out there. The information is out there on how to better ourselves. But we rather sit around and complain and make excuses, and that shit is not gonna help. That shit is not gonna help. I don't care how many times or how long you complain about it, you know, how much you blame others, you know, for your situation. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. This is what I want to ask y'all. What would you want to pass down to the next generation? Debt or assets? Debt or assets? Debt or assets? I'm trying to give assets to my kids now. I'm trying to give them equipment so they can start making t-shirts. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, give them equipment so they can start a lawn service, so they can better themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's already. That's all I think about. You know what I'm saying now? Because I don't know when I'm leaving here. But if I can, I'm going to make sure that my people, not just my family, but my extended family too, I'm going to make sure that they good. I'm going to make sure that they good. But again, what would you want to pass down to the next generation? Debt or assets? Talk to me. Talk to me. But as always, we talk about the problem. We talk about how we got here, but it don't work if we don't talk about the solutions. So here are some steps to change the narrative on you and your lifestyle when it comes to credit. Number one, educate yourself. Like I said, read, watch videos, join workshops. You know what I'm saying? I have some workshops coming up in the new year, a bunch of workshops, and financial literacy is going to be one of the main ones. But stop using credit for things that don't grow and things that don't grow you. Clothes don't grow you. You know what I'm saying? You used to think clothes make a man. Y'all women know they don't make a man. If you dress up a bum, he's still a bum. Vice versa. You can put, you know what I'm saying, the sexiest clothes on a woman. If she's still a thought, she's still a thought. That don't matter. But use credit for things that grow you, assets. And start small. Use credit responsibly, man. Pay on time. Pay your, you know, try to, you know what I'm saying, not pay the minimum. Try to keep that thing, you know what I'm saying, low where you can pay it off. You know what I'm saying? I use my credit card for business. I use it to buy stuff from business, you know what I'm saying, and employees, and then I turn around and when I'm paid, I pay it off. That's how I try to build it up. But however you want to do it, man, start small. And really start critiquing your purchases before you buy them. That's the main thing. Do I need this? Is this going to make my life better? You know what I'm saying? Is this going to, know what I'm saying, help me or hurt me financially in the long run? But like invest in assets, businesses, skills. I paid for my life coaching class because I needed those skills to earn an income. I needed those skills to start another business and earn an income. So spend your money on starting a business. Spend your money on a college course. Learn a new skill. Spend it on property. Spend it on tools. You know what I'm saying? Something that's going to benefit. Buy a lawnmower. Buy your son a lawnmower. And you'll be surprised. Tell him to go door to door and knock on the door and see can he, you know what I'm saying, mow some yard. Simple stuff like that. You'll be surprised at the difference. But, like I said before, credit is not bad. It's not credit. Credit is powerful. But power in the wrong hands causes destruction. And that's what credit is doing in the wrong hands. In the hands of most of the black community. It is causing destruction. It is causing despair, and it's causing deeper debt. But if we learn to use credit to build assets instead of feeding liabilities, we can change our lives, we can change our families, and we can change our community, man. Really, it's that deep. Something as simple as credit. Something as simple as credit. Let's not just work hard for money. Let's make money work for us, man. Let's make money work for us. And it starts with building your credit. But this is what I want you to do. If tonight blessed you, share this video, tag a friend, and let's spread the knowledge. But join me next Thursday at 8 p.m. for another episode of the P-Ave Perspective with Mr. O'Neal. Until then, let's keep building, people. Let's keep growing, and let's keep prospering. And again, thank y'all for tuning in with me. I'll be back Thursday night, God willing, and we're going to talk about something else. But like I said, whether you watching live or whether you watching the replay on YouTube, I appreciate you tuning in with me, and thanks for your support. And remember, credit, man, assets over liabilities. Peace.